Well, unfortunate news that we received a short while ago of TV actress Tunisha Sharma, who was the lead actor of popular show Ali Baba Dastaan-E-Kabul, has died by suicide. As per initial reports, the actor, 20-year-old, was found hanging in the makeup room on the sets where she was shooting. So pictures on your screens of the young lady who was found hanging on the sets. Shweta joining us live. Shweta, what is the confirmed information that we have on this? Has the police made a statement? Has there been a case registered? And what about the family or friends? What information have you gathered on this unfortunate case, Shweta?
Well, Afrida, this is really an unfortunate incident. What we are reporting currently, that Tunisha Sharma, who was just 20-year-old TV actress, now she has worked in fact, many TV shows and in few films as well. She was into the business of acting like when she was a child. So from child actor to becoming an influencer on social media, it had a long journey when it comes to Tunisha Sharma, but she has attempted suicide and she is no more now. But according to police, she was declared brought dead when she was taken to the hospital, which is situated in Vasai. When it comes to her family, she used to live with her mother in Mira Road, and the information what we are gathering from the sets of Naigaon of her latest show on Sub TV, Ali Baba Dastaan-E-Kabul, that some 6 hours back, in fact, she updated her story on Instagram. Many used to in fact follow her, and some behind the scenes sort of stories she had put, but she attempted suicide in the makeup room of the lead actor of the show, Mr. Khan. And here we are also getting to understand that she was keeping unwell for past a week, and she seemed to be tense. This is what we are understanding. She was just 20-year-old, Afrida. In fact, a good face for the TV industry. TV industry has lost a young talent, where she has worked in many shows, which includes Internet Wala Love, Maharana Pratap, now Ali Baba Dastaan-E-Kabul, and few other films also. Now, the information also coming out from Value Police was she was declared dead while she was rushed to the hospital of Vasai. As far as the case is being registered, we have to just see what sort of case is being registered. But yes, this has come as a real-time shock for the TV industry, where a young talent has ended her life by committing suicide.
Zunziad, we will never, and we don't go into speculation, but the fact is that here was someone who was active in the business. She was getting all the exposure. She was in the prime of her career. I have Murtaza Ali Khan. Shweta, stay with us. I have Murtaza Ali Khan, film critic, joining me on the program. Mr. Khan, good evening. A young talent, no more among us today. And for those who have followed her, she has over 1 million followers on Instagram. Quite evident that a very popular face. What would you share with us about why, our industry, the TV industry, has these kind of reports, these kind of cases often enough in this country?
This is really so sad, really, devastated to hear this news, because she was such a bright young talent. And I remember her, even as a child artist, in a couple of films, she used to play the younger version of Katrina Kaif, if I remember correctly, in Fitur and in Bar Bar Dekho. And right from a very young age, she was a very bright sort of an actor who knew, how to face the camera, and she really had a way about her, self, especially with how she would emote and how she would, play these different characters. Now, as a young actor working in television, she was really making a name for herself, and such great potential she showed in a very short time. So it's really a huge damage, and I think it's really, really sad. And I remember when we heard the news of Pratyusha Banerjee committing suicide, 5-6 years ago, that had come as a huge, huge shock. And since then, we have had these incidents from time and again. We get to hear about these young talent, committing suicide, or at least, making suicide attempts. So this is very disturbing. I think what has happened now is that the industry needs to have, a proper measures in place. For example, there need to be in place, there need to be doctors in place, there need to be counselors in place, because you've got to understand that these people are working often in shifts of 16 hours, 18 hours without rest. There is no counseling. It's all work. And
Yes.
often they are very young, and from a very young age, they are, living, in a big city, away from their family, away from their support system. So all kinds of pressures, sometimes can get over them. And since they are very young and impressionable minds, they need advice and counseling. I think we need to take a leap, in this regard, and we must really overcome this series of losses that we are suffering. And for that, the entire system has to, change. We need really measures which are at par with the West, because we have seen that in the Western countries, we have counseling, we have all the proper mechanisms in place, even though we still have the suicide cases, but there is a proper process which, allows the stars and these young talents to get that kind of support, that kind of important counseling and advice. I think it's most important right now.
It is most important. Mr. Khan, she was only 20 years old. The fact that at a very young age, when you work in an environment, that requires perhaps, long hours, it requires an erratic schedule. Do you think oftentimes children, teenagers who are not even ready to go into a profession of this manner is doing that kind of job, and then not getting the counseling, not getting the support like you mentioned? Is this problem endemic, you feel, in this country?
Incident happened, I was really concerned and I was really worried. So were, everybody else around, and we wanted, to bring about some serious measures in place wherein we have proper support system in place, proper counseling in place, proper mechanism in place, because these young, minds, they are very impressionable and they are working in great stress. Sometimes they are even not taking breaks. And there is no support system in that sense. They only have themselves with each other. And all of them, are either teenagers or they are 20-somethings. And so there is a great, loss. Sometimes when there are issues which deals with emotions, sometimes they deal with work pressure. So who would guide them? Who would tell them, okay, this is how you're supposed to act in such a situation?
Often coming from other locations to a city like Mumbai, and then not having the kind of emotional support that they need to do these kind of high pressure jobs. It's an important issue, and there should be conversation around it. Murtaza Khanji, thank you for joining us.